Did you know one of these sweet potatoes can produce dozens of slips and in return you about 50 pounds worth of sweet potatoes? Today I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to give you multiple ways on doing that and go into great detail on when to plant them. So what is a sweet potato slip anyways? Well, a sweet potato slip is when you grow a branch off of one of these sweet potatoes. Essentially, you put the sweet potato in some water or in some growing medium, and it will sooner or later root little plants off of it. You cut those little plants off, you throw them in a thing of water, let them root out, and then after you root them out, throw them in some soil, harden them off like you know it would in a normal plant, bring them outside, plant them, and then voila, let them grow. Let them grow all summer. And sooner or later, you will get huge sweet potatoes. This is not the biggest sweet potato. We had a couple, one of them I think was about 4 pounds or so. We had a couple of them. One of them I named Thanksgiving, one of them I named Christmas. Aptly so, because they fed us at those times. So we are gonna have some good sized sweet potatoes out of these. And we're gonna keep this crop going. This was a pretty good crop this last year. These sweet potatoes are very tasty. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take last year's sweet potatoes that we use, and we're gonna put them into the ground, and we're gonna try to get some more slips off of them. That is one way you can do it. Now, if you don't have any sweet potatoes from last year, I suggest going to the grocery store. Go find yourself an organic bag of sweet potatoes. Eat some, save some. Now I say organic because organic's most likely not gonna have any anti-sprouting or anti-rooting or any of those hormones added to the sweet potato to keep them nice in the bag to look like a nice sweet potato. They're gonna keep them from producing the sprouts. Now, you might be able to get away with that with your regular sweet potato. You don't never know. But if you're going to put your money on it, do a little bit of organic ones. You're not really going to spend too much money on it. But if you're going to put a little bit of money into it, a lot of it's time that you're going to put into it. I'd go with the organic ones. Now, there are 2 ways that I have done this successfully in the past. For the first way, all you're going to need is a simple jar of water, your sweet potato, and about 4 or 5 toothpicks. 4 or 5 toothpicks. Essentially, you're going to fill up your jar full of water, and you're going to take these toothpicks, and you're just going to simply take them and put them into the sweet potato. I do it about maybe midway through the sweet potato. And you're going to want to make sure that when you do this, you're going to put it in the jar. You're going to make sure that you got the rooting end down, which if you can't tell sometimes, usually it's the pointier end. And then once you put the pointier end in there, into the jar, you should be okay. You should be able to fill that jar up with water, let it sit. Matter of fact, if you feel like you need to get deeper into the water, you put the toothpicks up higher if you want to. Now, I would take this and put it on one of your heat mats in your grow room with some light. You could put it in a windowsill if you got a south-facing windowsill, or you can simply put it on top of a refrigerator that gets a little bit of light to it. The slips are going to need some light once they start growing, but you're also going to want to have some type of heat source. It'll produce things a little bit quicker. You don't necessarily have to, but having the heat source will make things grow a little bit quicker. Now, the next way, and this to me, this is the far superior way of doing it, is to get yourself a tray full of your favorite potting mix, your DIY potting mix. If you haven't seen it, I got a DIY potting mix video. Go check that out. And you're going to need a couple sweet potatoes. Look at this guy. This guy is still pretty dirty. I haven't cleaned it off yet, but it's still going to produce. You're going to take your sweet potato, and essentially, you're going to take it and you're going to nestle it into the dirt. Put it about maybe halfway up of the dirt and put them in there, and then you'll have those nestled into the dirt, and they'll look pretty odd just having a sweet potato just sit in the dirt. But sooner or later, those roots, those sprouts will start popping up, and you'll get sprouts, and they'll start growing and growing and growing and growing. You want to snip those off. Once you snip those off, take a full jug of water and just simply put them into the water. I'll put mine out in here in the grow room in the water, jar full of water. Sometimes you could put them out into a south-facing window, but you'll see those stems start rooting out. Once those stems start rooting out, you got a good set of roots, go ahead and start potting them up into some soil. Once you get them potted up into the soil, it's just a matter of waiting for the weather to be right. When you plant these outside, you want these to be in a pretty warm time frame. So typically I wait till middle of May, end of May, sometimes in June, just depends on how May goes. But sweet potatoes are kind of a tropical plant, so you want to have them in warm weather. That soil definitely needs to be warm. Right now that soil is definitely too cold for these, but you want to make sure that you keep the soil warm. And if you do that, you'll be blessed with a lot of sweet potatoes come about October-ish or so. I always like to get my sweet potatoes out before the first frost. As long as I know when that first frost is coming, I try to dig them up as soon as I can, and you will find yourself with gigantic sweet potatoes. I mean, double the size of these. Trust me, you'll have some that are double the size of these. And you will have a lot of sweet potatoes. If you've got kids, bring them out there because you're going to need their help to dig these all up. Trust me, they are going to be plentiful for you. And they're going to be a very, very good staple in your pantry. Once you get these guys so that they are ready to be stored, they will store for a long time. These guys are still good eating right now, and it is March. And we're still eating sweet potatoes. We'll actually probably still be eating some of the same sweet potatoes here June, July, August. So we got plenty of these. They do store very, very well. This is an excellent crop for you to put in your garden. The only thing I would suggest is make sure you give them ample space for those vines to grow. Last year I had a jungle out there with a lot of these vines. The vines do get a little bit big. If you can go up, that's going to be your best bet to give them space. But if you can't, let them go out. Maybe put them up against your lawn so that way they can grow out into the lawn. They will take up a lot of room, but they also produce a good, stable crop for you to have and enjoy year-round if you need to. So tell me, are you guys growing any sweet potatoes? Do you guys live in a climate where it allows you to grow sweet potatoes? I know some people down south, they plant one of these guys and they don't harvest them all. They'll have volunteer sweet potatoes out of these because these guys will just simply root out themselves. Up north, you guys may have a little bit more problems trying to get these guys to grow and try to get big sweet potatoes out of them. Right now, we're probably in a good climate for these guys where I'm at right here in about South Central Illinois. So let me know down in the comments down below what you think. If you like the tips that I'm giving here, please click that subscribe button. As always, give me a thumbs up. Cheers, everybody. God bless.